Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy at Walden University with a joint faculty appointment with Ross University School of Medicine. And in this video, in this quick clip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over secondary data analysis, but I'm going to do it on a level of providing a framework. This is a framework that I have constructed from years of experience in dealing with secondary data analysis research. This is a bit different than kind of going into the community and asking study questions to respondents. This takes a little bit of a bit more of finagling of data and understanding how to clean data and how to even deal with missingness in some instances. Anyway, we can go ahead and get started. So in this one slide, what I've done is I've provided some details as to how secondary data analysis works. And what I'm going to do for your benefit is show you kind of diagrammatically how this works. So we start off, and I hope you can see this. We start off talking about finding a research gap. So that's step one, finding a research gap. And then from that goes to searching for variables within dataset that align with the gap in question. So you actually have to first identify what is it that you're researching. And this may be based on what is available along with what your interests are. So two things you want to be looking for is access or availability, and you're looking if this aligns with interest, with your personal interest. Because after all, you're going to be spending a number of years studying some of these aspects, so you might as well select a topic that you actually have some interest in, or else things get dry and boring pretty quickly, and so you want to make sure that that is not only accessible, but something that is of interest to you. Anyway, I'm going to now looking at some of the nationally representative data sets. You can access the codebook very quickly, as I've stated here. So as soon as you explore these within the websites, and there's a lot more, then you go into the codebook and start exploring within the codebook. And you might have all the variables that you're looking for. I've also seen instances where you might have variables that you're looking for, but they're in different years. Depending on how the data was collected, in some instances you can actually combine years to ensure that that some of the variables you can do, but you have certain parameters that you have to take into consideration before combining different data sets. And of course, I'm thinking of specific examples, but it's difficult to explain. In fact, I'll go ahead and explain this nonetheless. So when you have, for instance, a cross-sectional study, such as the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, that is only respondents at one moment in time. So what I'm trying to say here is that the respondents that were asked questions between 1999 and 2000 are different respondents than those who were asked questions in 2001 to 2002. And this is important to note is because many people, many students, as they're starting off, think that they can do a longitudinal analysis. But within this data set, the main type of study, in fact, I would argue the only type of study when you exclusively use NHANES is cross-sectional studies. However, you can make longitudinal studies out of this by adding overall mortality, cardiovascular disease-related mortality, or other cause-specific mortality as a follow-up. But this is something that is a matter of alignment between what your interests are and what you're trying to look for. So if you're looking for follow-up, then you would have to link it with the National Death Index, and it's pretty complicated. So once you get to the dataset codebook, what you want to then tell is, does it contain all the variables, or does it not? If your answer is that it does contain all the variables, then you're done. Nothing to worry about. Now you're ready to write your brief data analysis plan. And once you get to that stage, then you're out of this loop. But this happens often. Is that some variables are not there, and that's when you have to go back kind of to the drawing board and see how you can modify, how you can go ahead and modify this plan, and maybe look for different variables or adjust according to what is available within the data set, or you can switch your data sets to a different one. There are different options, but you're going to have to become more creative on the second go around, because now you're a bit more informed about what is available and what's not available. So that is, in summary, what is going on. Again, the 3 take-home messages is this: finding the appropriate research relevant gap, which is answerable through a secondary data set, is important. And you can do this by exploring a lot of the different databases that are out there, which contain multiple data sets. ICPSR is one of those as well. Now, searching for variables, this is important as well. How do you define these variables? How do you make sense of uncertainty? This is important. And then aligning with the proper data set. So as long as you kind of look at these 3 things, then and then look at this diagram again, pause through it, and see if it can make a little bit more sense when you look at it second time around. But I just wanted to make note that once you come back to step 2, what then is remaining is selecting the most parsimonious model. And this is actually something that comes a little bit later, but I added it to the model just for completeness. And technically, this is kind of the end goal that you're hoping for once you align all of these areas. So I hope this has provided you with what you need to get started on your own secondary data analysis project. Thank you for listening.